So, good morning. Mm, we've been traveling actually the whole night in different ways, and also this morning we jumped in a car very, very early, and so we just here in Lisboa on our flight to Copenhagen. So we're both pretty raw and rough, and it's been an interesting few days, and I wanted to share how Rachel's falling in love with another man has been medicine for me. And as I'm sharing this with you, I'm also noticing that there is some grief and gratitude that's just right under the surface. And I also feel a bit kind of worked out because I haven't slept a lot. Because last night, as Rachel spent the night with her lover, I had a really rough time. It was like my solar plexus was on fire, and all these old tapes were just rewinding and replaying. And when I'm looking into these few last days, I can see really how an old tape from childhood has been replayed and has been embraced by a more conscious, a more adult me, and a very loving and understanding and guiding community. So it's been the result is integration and not more separation, not more trauma, not more tear in my psyche. It's more of a sense of having connected more with aspects of me that I have buried because they've been painful for a long time. So it's almost like all wounds have been surfacing in this environment. And I want to tell you a little bit of the details, but give some air for Rachel before I just monologue on here. How are you?
I'm just feeling a lot of love for you and sweetness, and I don't know what to say. This is your video, so I'm just here really to love you and support you, and I don't know so much from what angle to speak, but however you'd like me to share.
Okay, maybe
you'll have to be a little bit more specific, because
let me take a direction so that you have something to speak into.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm obviously choosing to share this very personal, often thought about private, and quite controversial piece of information. The general worldview that I was raised in is that these kinds of things you keep to yourself. And actually these kinds of things, you don't even do them. People have affairs, that's what people do, and they break up and they sever the love and the friendship and everything they built up because somebody else slept with somebody else. That's what the common thread is. That's the world we are kind of taking a stance against, saying we don't have to do that. This is extremely personal, but it's extremely universal, like Jung says, you know. We all have these childhood issues that surface when it comes to our closest beloved's behaviors and our own behaviors with other objects of interest, so to speak, to use an object relation term. So I just want to share that my intention of sharing this with me is to take a political stance and actually like embody a new culture of transparency, truth-telling that will build trust within me, within us, within this culture. So, as I'm feeling a little bit like teary-eyed, I just remembered spending the afternoon on my own in this oracle spring paradisical point at Tamera land, a natural spring that we've spent time at as a huge group, and we've done a lot of conscious explorations of different kinds of ways to tap into eros, to tap into being in touch with nature out there in here and meeting in that. But I was so emotional, I was so full of energy, it was like I was full. I couldn't do anything, I couldn't take in anything. So by advice from some elders and inspiration from Rachel, who'd been there before, I just went out in nature and I began walking. And as I'm walking, this old grief comes up. And this sense of being really lost, confused, really feeling like a boy who's abandoned. And I can remember so many times, like feeling that feeling at daycare. I remember protesting against my parents leaving me at that fucking daycare every fucking time, and yet they drove away, right? So the feeling is impregnated in every cell of my body. So here I am, walking up and down this field, feeling this kind of desire to just give up, because it's too fucking much. And yet I'm also aware that I am in paradise, that this is what we're choosing to do as a culture. We are allowing eros and love to flow freely. And I've had an amazing experience of seeing Rachel being so touched and so loved by this incredible man. And to see Rachel like in love, and to see this man's love for Rachel, I thought was going to be on one level really threatening, but when I've been in the presence of that, it's been nothing but kind of a nurturing relief. And part of that is my own trip around like being the provider of happiness for Rachel, and you know my mom or whatever. Like there's a conditioning of having a responsibility there that I feel, oh my God, there's more than me. I'm not alone any longer with somebody resting on me. And it's not true that she's resting on me, but there's an imprint, there's a conditioning in me as a man, in me in this particular family constellation. So as I'm walking there and feeling both the gratitude for the beauty of the bright light that comes through Rachel and this beautiful man, and that I get to just be part of, I'm also feeling this lost boy who's walking there, and at the same time I'm in this paradise, olive grove, like olive trees, and there's sun, there's bird, like there's incredible birds singing going on, and it's almost like I get from the root of me, bring this little boy, like look, here is where we are, and I'm with you, and you're not alone feeling these feelings right now, because I'm here. I have grown up, and I'm choosing to open my heart even to you, to the pain you've been carrying in the basements of my psyche. Now I welcome that pain. So and it's still very much here, and it's beautiful for me to get to feel this rawness, because somewhere in the core of my sense of self, this is who I am. It's almost like a fallback position when I'm not able to be adult and responsible. I fall back into the shoes of this little boy who is lost, confused, and unable to take care of shit, and who's just waiting for somebody to notice him, to say, I see you. Like, I'm right here with you. as you are, you know, and I'm going to sit here until I get what you need, you know, and I get to be that person for myself. And for me, that's the work that I see my clients do. That's the work that I see is happening in groups. That's the work. That's the healing. Because there is no perfect condition out there that's going to take care of this. Like, this is the integration that happens, and it's also happening because I am in this paradise and I'm totally in choice here. There's a spiritual, there's a deeper, sacred embodiment. Like, I feel a spiritual embodiment. Like I'm resting in space in which all of this can hang out in. So, as I hear Rachel breathing in the background, I don't know if she's regulating for me or if she thinks that I should kind of wrap up. But, you know, there's a hyper awareness around, are you okay? Am I okay? Am I doing? That lives in this little boy inside of me that picks up this environmental cues of acceptance or not. Shall I shut down and be invisible, or can I go on? And I'm choosing to go on because I want to go on. And for some of you, you know, my share might evoke judgment. It might make you want to give me an advice or even reassurance, like, you're okay, you're fine, I love you as you are. And I just want to let you know that there's no part of me that needs that or wants that from you. That like really what this is about is to abide in the witness. If anything I need from you is to sit back and find the backspace. As you lean back and relax your belly, open your heart, just drop into your sacred core. If anything you can do for me is to just abide in your sacred core, your higher self. That's it, basically. Anyhow, so last night, before I got this fireball in my belly that wanted me to kill and destroy and basically we gone home to pack, and then Rachel was considering spending the night with this beautiful man, and I had kind of reached the limit. Yet I was also in that place where I was welcome. Where I was compromised to the place where I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't actually take care for this little boy. It was like my defenses had already caught up and they were running ahead. Almost like a wild horse that I can hold and use its force when I'm in front of me. But once it goes backwards, it begins to push me forward into old patterns of, like, I don't need anyone, I don't want to show myself vulnerable, I don't want to request anything, whatever. And kind of the trip that was going on for me as well was kind of from an, you know, kind of almost like an unprocessed, still current issue, was this thing around this man loves Rachel in a way that I have not been able to in a quite long time. And there's something incredibly beautiful to witness that, and also something incredibly painful to just feel my own heart kind of calcified and not able to be in that falling in love space for a long time. It happens occasionally, but like there is so much history, there's so much stress, there's so much, like, whatever it is, it's like there is a pain there. Call it karma, call it something that we are working on, that I'm working on, but to have it so clearly outlined, like, damn, I wish my heart had that experience. You know, so that was like that was like an additional load on me, because it's like now I'm just like fuck, what does that mean? Anyhow, so she asked me, like, hey, I'm thinking about going. How's that for you? You know, she really checks in. She does all the good things. And I'm saying, I'm neutral. You know, basically I'm shut down. And somewhere secretly, this little boy wished that my mom would have noticed me and said, oh, I see you. And somewhere I wish that she wouldn't, you know, because I also don't want her to kind of rescue me. It's my work. So I'm glad that she did what she did, which basically clearly say, I really want to go. So she went. And it actually happened to be, I shared that I had resentment after she made the decision to walk, and then it was like a lose-lose. Had she stayed, she would have been in resentment, and I would have been in resentment because she didn't choose me. So it was like it was good that she went, but it basically opened a fucking volcano, like an internal implosion for me, and that just kept me awake the whole fucking night. Excuse my French, but it was a fucking night, and I'm just laying there burning. I try to soothe a little bit by listening to music. I send one message to a beloved friend, like, help. I send one message to Rachel at 3 a.m. just kind of describing what's happening in the body and kind of where my mind was taking me. And as I'm tapping into this, I'm still not entirely through. It's almost like there's a bit of a gap. There's some parts of this that has yet to be integrated, and I think it is that last piece around really being mirrored in the kind of love that I once felt that is foreign or not that of a frequent flyer with my heart right now. I can feel it from Rachel. I feel that love from Rachel, but in my own heart, it's like a deep conflict within me, and it's like I'm basically hanging my dirty laundry in front of you, like letting you look at something that I know maybe not all of you, but some of you have been in a long-term relationship, and you've doubted, you've judged yourself, anyhow, that's so I'm just gonna kind of leave you with my unfinished business, because it is my unfinished business. And just again, I'm sharing this with you not because I want your sympathy or I want an advice or any reassurance or any judgment. Actually, if you have something opposed to what we're actually doing behaviorally, or some kind of explanation of, yeah, sure, you know, of course you would feel that pain considering what you guys are doing, I would ask for you to just suspend your judgment and see that as your medicine, because it is a reveal I do to you, and particularly you who've felt alone with this, who've isolated and felt ashamed of this. I just want to reassure you that this is something culturally that we carry. This is something historically, and the very trauma that we experience is this separation, is this tendency to pull away from this pain, is to pull away from social engagement. That is the tear. So when we heal, it's like there's more allowance, there's more permission for you to be you, because I get to be me. Not perfect me, but I get to me as I am, and I get to abide in as much love as I'm capable of experiencing, and for me that is the spirituality that I want to propagate, that I want to stand on a soapbox and say, it is that simple. It is this simple to abide in something deeper than my defense mechanisms, than my personality, than my traumas, than my wounds. There's something deeper that is holding all of this. And that is the magic that we in 3 breaths invite you to do with us, that we provide.
No.
No?
No work right now.
No work.
Stay with your personal share, because that's really beautiful.
Thank you. So I have chosen to speak here because this is now my forum. This is you're my community, and in this forum we do not speak necessarily directly to the person it involves because it can be really intense. So we are being held by this community right now that are with us, and I appreciate that. It feels like there's a lot more space because of where you're at when you receive this. There's more space for me to breathe into this and to feel the pain, the grief, and the gratefulness, and the love that I actually do have right now. You want to share something, or?
I just want to share, I haven't checked in with Booster yet, so all of this was the first time I heard any of this. So there's also a vulnerability in being seen publicly in this way before, like, having the information or having felt you and what you've been through myself. And I love you a lot, and nothing changes how much I love you. Nothing. I love you more. And somewhere deep inside there's also a little sadist that's also happy that you get to experience what I've experienced many, many, many times. But I can feel myself there, and I'm fucking incredibly humbled by how you step up and hold that little boy. Yeah, what a great role model you are for me, and how I can hold myself the next time that you start to fall in love with someone else. Which I'm sure will not be too long away. It's right around the corner. So thank you for holding your heart, showing me how to do it. I'm grateful you're doing the work. And that we can hold each other together on this journey. I am fully committed to you in this. Can we celebrate too? Booster and I did what did we do? How do we call it? A sacred partnership ritual yesterday, where we did a whole ritual dedicating our partnership to like a global love and healing beyond us. That was how we started the day yesterday.
Pretty much what we're doing right now. Our business is not personal.
No.
It is global.
It's collective and universal, and that's the healing. So I think this was our initiation into that bigger vision that we're standing for now.
This is it. It's
not privatized.
Secluded. Shamed, scared.
A love free of fear, violence, and lies.
Thank you so much for your support. And if anything, I invite, as some of you have already shared, like appreciations. I love that little heart, and it's like when anyone opens out his or her heart, it's like the balm is like gratitude. Thank you. I feel touched by you. I can join with you. Like the balm sometimes comes in just like, I feel you, brother.
Yeah.
So
higher self mirror reflections.
Thank you. Oh. Thank you.
Thanks.
Love you guys. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah.
Together we can do it. Alone we're fucked.